So you're thinking about moving to Baltimore, Maryland? We're so excited to show you some of the awesome neighborhoods and suburbs in and around the Baltimore, Maryland area.
We're going to take you around some of the various neighborhoods, show you a lot of the different features and price points so you can get a feel for what Baltimore, Maryland has to offer.
We hope you stick around to the end, where we always share a little tidbit that you won't find anywhere else about some of the awesome places that we're exploring in and around Baltimore, Maryland.
So you're not going to want to miss this. Let's get after it. So if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about Baltimore, Maryland, make sure you subscribe below, hit that notification bell, and you can stay current on everything here in the Baltimore, Maryland area.
If you're ready to buy into the county, here are a few things you may not know.
You do not have to put down 20%.
Gone are the days when 20% was even the norm. Now there are multiple programs that allow home buyers to put a lot less down than 20%. And honestly, with rates being the way that they are today, it's sometimes advantageous to keep that cash in your pocket and use it for other things, because you know that you're going to be refining out of that high rate and high payment in the coming months. So there's a lot of things that you can do to offset the idea of putting 20% down.
One would be putting down 3.5% on an FHA government-backed loan.
Another one is conventional loans now offer 3 and 5% down options. So you have the security of a conventional loan with only putting 3 or 5% down. Another one is a USDA loan, which allows you to put 0% down. These are geographically based, and depending on which areas you're moving into Baltimore County, some of the neighborhoods will qualify for that type of financing.
So Kelly, what do you tell your clients about PMI?
So PMI, if you haven't heard of it before, is an insurance, a mortgage insurance on a payment where you're not putting 20% down. So some of the programs we just mentioned actually don't come with PMI, which is really nice. The other idea of people don't want to pay money that's not going towards their principal or their balance, I get that, and that is a hard thing to wrap your head around. However, every month that you're making a rent payment, you are not putting any money towards a principal or down payment. So it's always a great idea to explore your options monthly. And if a PMI is something that you need to get yourself into a house, you're not going to have it forever. You're going to refi out of it eventually. So.
And the last one is VA loans. So this is for our veterans only, and this gives you the ability to put down 0%. Obviously, you have to weigh your options on how the payment works for you and your family, but it does give you the ability to put down 0%.
We love the idea of going through multiple different options to see what monthly payment you're comfortable with, and then backing into what type of houses we should be searching for and what price points in what neighborhoods. It's really nice to put that picture together so you know exactly what you're comfortable affording, and we look at the appropriate houses. One other reason that we love when people, don't put that full 20% down is it gives you a lot of room to maybe do some updates, some paint, some flooring, buy furniture, all of those surprises that come up with just the cost of moving. So it keeps a little money in your pocket and can be a really nice tool for some of our buyers.
The good news is we have people to help with all of those things. So whether you need furniture, whether you need painting, whether you need landscaping, we've got you covered for all those things.
It all starts with a conversation of, what are you comfortable affording? And we can work with you, with our lenders, with our partners to kind of put that whole picture together, and it's never too early to do that.
The second thing you might not realize is that you actually can buy a house while using the equity that you have in your current home.
So how does that work? There are multiple programs that know how much equity you have in your home, and they say, listen, you can leverage that and get your pre-approval on your next house, actually move into that next house. And then when you sell your house, you take all of the money that you would like to out of this sale and roll it into this purchase. So you don't have to wait to move, you don't have to wait to sell this house, and you don't have to be contingent, so you can actually be competitive.
So one of the best situations for that to be put in use for is if you're a downsizer. So if you've lived in your home for a long period of time, you've built up a ton of equity, right? So, and you may be on your tail end of your career, you don't have a lot of income, coming in. You can use that equity in your home to make that purchase and then take care of the rest with your current home and selling that one.
The other reason we love these strategies of being able to move into your next house before you sell your current house is you're going to get the maximum amount of money for your current house if it is vacant, and if we can come in, do the deep clean, do the painting, any small cosmetic updates, you're not shuffling the kids and the dog or decluttering years of living there. That's already done, so we can present this incredible picture of what your house is worth and get you every ounce of sweat equity that you have put in over the years.
Right now, we're looking at about 6 different ways to use the equity in your home to make the purchase of your next home.
Everybody has a different strategy, but there's so many different ways to put together that puzzle. It's never too soon, like we always say, to figure out what that'll look like for you when the time comes. So up next, you might qualify for what's called the Maryland Mortgage Program. This is typically for first-time homebuyers, so if you're not a first-time homebuyer, scroll ahead, this isn't for you.
If you are a first-time homebuyer, here's exactly what the Maryland Mortgage Program looks like.
So it's actually a class that you take, and there's a couple of different options. There's sometimes a long waiting list, so make sure you don't wait until the last minute to get into one of these classes. It teaches you a lot about home ownership and what you can expect to be a first-time homeowner. In return for taking that class, the government is going to give you $5,000 that you can use towards your down payment or your closing costs. That is fully a grant gift given to you. You do not have to pay it back. So it's a huge benefit that can help you come up with some of that cash you're going to need for closing if you're a first-time homebuyer.
So the one thing about the Maryland Mortgage Program is that not everybody can qualify for it. So it does depend on your income and it does depend on your credit. So we would have to look into your situation and see if that is something that makes sense for you.
The third thing that you may not realize is that local agents will have an inside track on properties that you are not seeing on Zillow or Redfin.
So when you're looking on Redfin or Zillow, they rely on our information to populate their websites. So what we put in is what they're going to get. So we have the ability to look at those properties, know about those properties way before any of those websites do. So that's why sometimes you'll see one website has some information, another website has different information, and vice versa. So that's why it's always good to work with an agent. They're going to be in the know. They know what's going on in the neighborhoods to get you into a property that fits you and your lifestyle.
So we always say is Zillow, Redfin, they're easy apps, they're fun to scroll, they're great. But when you get actually serious about a particular area or you're getting closer to actually wanting to get out and see properties, make sure you're connected with a real portal from the MLS, because you might get really excited about a property that's actually under contract. You might go down a wild goose chase that doesn't really matter, where if you're working with a local agent, you're not gonna have that happen. You're also gonna get access to pocket listings, and these are listings that we have as brokers that are never going to hit the market. It's a seller saying, Kelly, I'll sell my house, but I don't want it going on the open market. We have access to that and we're able to share that with our committed buyers. So it's just something to keep in mind. We have nothing against any of those apps, but when you get to that more serious stage of looking, you're gonna wanna enact a local agent.
Like, why wouldn't you want first dibs on something that is gonna be such an important decision for you and your family?
Yeah, it really costs you nothing to have that conversation, so it only benefits you.
Right.
So we were just talking about Zillow and Redfin, which brings us to our next point. When you're on those apps, it gives you an option, schedule a tour for this property. Just so you guys know, Zillow and Redfin don't actually have access to our showing time options. So even if it's allowing you to click a time to tour a property, Zillow and Redfin don't actually know if that property is available at that time. But let's say you do go ahead and click on Zillow for seeing a property at 3 o'clock. It is going to ping that out to multiple local agents who have paid to advertise on Zillow. It is not sending that request to the listing agent. So you're getting connected with a random agent who has paid to be on Zillow, and that person may or may not be able to take you out to tour and see that house. They likely don't know a lot about the house. They likely don't know anything about you because you were just connected to them on Zillow. They are a really great resource to get you out to see a house that same day, but from there, it's really just luck of the draw. So people don't necessarily realize that when they're clicking on that Zillow link, who they're being connected with, and we just wanted to break that down. It's not good or bad, it's just the more you know, the better you can leverage that when you're starting your house search.
So then there's also Redfin, and what Redfin does, they have salary employees, they work hourly, they can go and show you as many properties as you want, but that's all that they're doing. They're basically showing agents. So whether you want to see that property or a different property, they'll go and show it, and then you're free to do whatever you'd like. Or if you'd like to work with them, that's their goal.
So these apps are great. We just want to let you know who you're connecting with behind that app. You can always connect with a local agent regardless of the market you're in. Most of the time, they're going to be available to give you a little bit of a deeper dive into the properties you're looking at, do some research on them, make sure they really know what your goals are, and make sure you're not wasting time looking at a lot of properties that are not within your search criteria. Another thing we like to do for people who are starting their search is set up a search for open houses. So you can go check out houses that will fit in your criteria in the areas and price points you're looking in without having to schedule things around an agent. So that's a fun thing to like have a little open house tour for a weekend that an agent could set up for you. Multiple ways to get out to see properties. Just make sure that you know who is showing it to you and what their interest in the game is. The last thing that we have for you is that there are 38 neighborhoods in Baltimore County. So as you think about moving to the county, there's some really popular neighborhoods that might pop out to you immediately, like a Towson or a Hunt Valley or a Timonium, but there are in reality 38 neighborhoods that represent a lot of different lifestyles. So as you start to explore what your goals are for your next neighborhood, for what schools you're gonna be going to, what your lifestyle looks like, we can match make you with a majority of those, and we have a bunch of different search tools that can help you do that.
So to that regard, we have multiple options available to you so that it can make your search a little bit easier and more streamlined. We can search by commute, we can search by schools, we can search by elementary schools if you want to get down that far. We can search by map point, we can search by radius, so on and so forth. There's so many, we can dive into those when the time comes, but just know that there's a ton available to you.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Recently, I was telling Mike this, but one of my clients actually sent to me a map of where their parents lived, where their in-laws lived, where the kids' preschool was, and where the dad's job was. And together we triangulated this perfect neighborhood that they could search in. I mean, we can really dive in like that and make sure that where you're going to live, location doesn't change. So where you live is the most important thing. They say it all the time, location, location, location. There's a good reason for that, and we really want to honor that when we're starting searches with people. So it's all to say, whatever you're looking for, we love to get that granular with it, and that's an advantage of really like deep diving into a home search when you're ready for that part.
And that doesn't even include all the local things that we are accustomed to and know about. So whether it's trails that you want to be close to, swim clubs, anything.
Lacrosse clubs, we're in Maryland, people.
Exactly. So whatever you need, whatever the lifestyle that you want to live or what you're looking for, we can help facilitate that.
It's a lot of fun. So when you're ready to deep dive into a search and you want to know what it's like and some things you might not know about being a buyer, whether it's your first time or whether you're leveraging a current house into your next place, make sure you reach out to us. It doesn't matter if it's today or if it's down the line, we're always here to help. I'm Kelly Schuett.
And I'm Mike Mislinski, and we're with the W Home Group of Next Step Realty.
We get calls and emails every day from people just like you who are thinking about making the move to Baltimore, Maryland, and we love it. We love sharing all of the amazing things that make Baltimore Charm City.
Whether it's 9 days or 90 days, we're here to make your move to Baltimore as smooth as possible.
You can call, text, or email us anytime. All of the information is below. We're so excited to help you on your journey moving towards Baltimore, Maryland, because we love new neighbors and new friends. Welcome.